Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about GitLab release command line tool or release CLI. This is an application written in Go and it's able to interact with GitLab's releases API through the command line or using your CI/CD's configuration file. This will basically allow you to consume a release instruction in your CI configuration file, and you will be able to release your project automatically. This is, as I said, it's a CLI tool, so you can actually run this from the command line, and you can see what the options are for it. If you use it in the CI configuration file, it's gonna default to some configuration values using GitLab's predefined environmental variables. So you can take advantage of all that to actually create a release, and you can get the information you need to actually create a release. At the moment, this CLI tool is only supports creating a release. We will of course try to add functionality in the future. You can go to the to the project's issues board, and you can see what we're planning to work on. And you're always welcome to add more ideas in there. We will review them and work on them when we can. So basically to create a release, like the documentation says here, we actually just calling the GitLab's releases API. So if we open this, we can see that basically these are the required attributes that we need to actually create a release. For this iteration, we try to keep it very, very simple. And at the moment, all you can do is add a name, add a description, and then the other two required fields is a tag name, because you're basically gonna create a Git tag for your release, and you need a reference so that the releases API knows which commit hash to use to create that release. Now, if I go back to here, if you were to run the command line tool with like this and say create help, it'll tell you, okay, these are the options that you can pass, and they basically match to what I just said on the releases API. All the configuration flags will actually default to gitlab-ci's predefined envars if there are any. So, for example, on the CI server, you don't need to specify the server URL, or you don't need to specify things like the job token to authenticate with the API, because these values will actually come from the CI environment. But let's go through an example of how you can actually use this tool in GitLab-ci. So I've added here, just a sample step that you can actually add to your CI file. So I have a very simple project here already. This is just a simple command line tool. It's the command line program that is actually just gonna, if I show you the CI steps, it's a Go application as well. And we're gonna have a test and a build steps in this configuration. But what we can do is actually just go ahead and add a release step in here. So I'm just using the web IDE just for fun to show you how you can do it yourself. So I just copied this from this section using this tool in GitLab-ci in the release CLI documentation. And let's say we just wanna, let's say we just wanna create a release, right? And the release CLI is available via Docker image. So all you need to do is specify the Docker image that you wanna use in this step. Also, we're adding a release stage. So let's just add it here and say we just want to release. And we only want to do this if test and build pass, which is probably what you will do. You probably will have many more stages. So at this stage, I'm saying I want to trigger it manually because I don't want to create a release automatically. Maybe you do. And as a general recommendation, I've added this except tags because when we create a release, we will create a tag, and GitLab-ci would actually pick up that tag, and it's going to read this CI file, and it's going to try to run all the steps again when it picks up that tag. So we don't want to recreate a release and just go into this kind of like loop when you keep creating releases. So in here in the script, all we're going to do is say, okay, we're going to call release CLI, and we're going to say create. We want to create a new release, and let's just call it, let's say this is going to be version 1.0.0. And as a description, we can actually just type here, this is a new release using the release CLI. And just for fun, let's just do this v1.0.0. And I'm going to take advantage of the fact that the CI knows the reference. It knows what commit to use, what commit reference to use. So this is going to actually create the release from this commit hash. Another thing that we can do is maybe we can add an environment variable here to say, let's just say extra description. And we are gonna commit this. Okay, let's say add release stage to our. And I'm just gonna commit to master right now. This is a throwaway project that I'm just using to demonstrate this, so no harm done. If I go back to the project and I go back to pipelines, I can see the steps are running at the moment. So we just need to wait for this. In the meantime, I would say you can just go back to this documentation. There's more information on how this tool works and what are the intended purposes of using this. There's also an open, this is the initial issue where all this conversation started and how we decided to make this work. So you're welcome to go through that. And like I said, if you have more ideas or if you find any issues, please report this to the issue board. And yeah, we'll try to work on that. So let's just wait for this build to finish. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, job succeeded. As you can see here, this release step is manual. So I can go and say run. Oops. I forgot to add the environment variable. So this will actually just create a release without that extra description variable that I defined. So, okay, this is actually very quick. as you can see, we just call, these are exactly the same steps that we added to our CI step. And we can see we are trying to create a release. This is just log information, and we can see the tag that we define. The name is V100. This is a new release using the release CLI, and then some more information, right? So if I actually go into my project releases, I should be able to see the release here. And here it is, it's tag V100. And you can go ahead and download all these assets. And yeah, that's a release CLI for you. Yeah, thank you.